Welcome to Real Estate Remarkables. My name is Taylor, and this is where we break it down. We break down the questions, we answer the public, and we bring the information to you. And what we're talking about right now is multiple offers in real estate. Now, what does that mean, and how is that like or not like a bidding war? That's often the question or the term that we hear people in the public use. Is they say, that I don't want to get into a bidding war or whatnot, but really, what is a multiple offer situation? What does it mean to sellers and what does it mean to buyers? Well, here's the breakdown. The definition is: imagine that you have a property for sale and offers from different parties come in at the same time. Now, first off, that doesn't always lead to a multiple offer situation. I'm just talking about the province that I'm licensed in, which is Alberta, and what the rule is here is that a seller at that point can choose. They can choose whether or not to negotiate with multiple parties unbeknownst to those parties, or they can choose to disclose to those parties that it's a multiple offer situation, and then there's very specific protocol. Now, why are there rules? Why can't we just, as sellers, say, hey, you're going to pay $350? Okay, let's go $360. Who's got $365? And just auction it up from there? Well, because it creates a terrible environment, and there's confusion. And what regulatory bodies in real estate want is transparency and equality between buyers and sellers. You can even see these things in the purchase agreement itself, not related to multiple offers, but related to the equality they're trying to create between buyers and sellers. So let's go back to the same scenario. We have a listed property, and all of a sudden there's multiple offers made by different parties. Let's say, for this argument's sake, that the seller decides to disclose to those parties that it's a multiple offer scenario. Well, in that case, those buyers are often going to put forth competitive offers. And what I mean by that is that instead of making an offer, let's say that we're going to use an average of about $500,000, instead of making an offer maybe that they would come in at like $475 or $480 and hope to get a counter offer to begin a negotiation, instead, they're going to come forth and just bring their final offer. They're going to bring an offer that is kind of the best that they would be willing to pay. And that's a good way to look at that from a buyer perspective. You should know things like the list price is what the seller wants. What you would want to buy as a buyer, it's probably like Price is Right's rules. And you're going to want to bid $1, like get it for the lowest price. And the third price is market value. And when there's multiple people trying to buy one property, it's very likely that the list price is at or below market value, and that's why it's attracting so much attention. So in these cases, you'll often see offers come in at list price, over list price, and the idea is that somebody wants to get that house more than the others, and the seller will often choose the best example. What we're looking for in here is to make sure that there's some even footing between those buyers trying to purchase the property, and then also that we're acting in the best interest of the seller. So now, if you're a seller, how do you get multiple offers? Well, there's some people out there that think it's just like rando. And it's up to you guys whether or not you would want to choose that person to be your agent. And this is something that you should be asking is, in our market right now, are multiple offers common, and do you have a process? If somebody just gives you the regulatory process, they may not have the gameness that many people are looking for. And here's what it looks like from our team's perspective. First off, we're systemized. We know how many showings there are. We know the demographics of the property types that we list. So we can already tell you that, we're going to drop this on MLS. This is going to be pretty popular. So we're going to see well over the 350 auto search criteria matches. So if you looked at the system that matches up agents to properties, those pro tools actually are kind of like Tinder. And you can see how many matches overall you get, which is a little bit different. But in the end, you can use that information to determine a few things. Like I can tell you that in our market, normally when we're getting about 350 matches, we're expecting 2 showings a week and more than that on opening week. That could mean that we would have enough traffic to start angling into multiple offers. Now, there's also a second step. If you have enough traffic, and then you catch that first offer, is the first move to go back and talk to the seller, get permission to disclose those offers, and then do you have the systems in place to get a hold of the other agents that showed, or even determine whether or not they would be interested in that by having a feedback system? So that's the second step. And then the third element is doing this in an organized manner so the people that are trying to buy the property find it easy to come in, make the best offers. And then inside of that, there's specific tactics that are well within the regulations that you can use to essentially even better that situation, because this is one of the best things that can happen to a seller. Often the fuel that buyers create for each other by being concerned about missing out on the one, that will actually work to your advantage and get you a higher seller value. So the key elements to remember with multiple offers is, first off, from the seller perspective, there needs to be systems in place to make sure that you don't miss any opportunities. But let's go over to the buyer perspective for a second. Now, buyers coming into multiple offer situations are probably pretty concerned. We talked about the three prices that they should be aware of: the list price, the seller, what the seller wants, obviously that they want to pay the least amount of money, and then in there is market value, and that's the key element. So being informed about what other properties are selling around you, if there were other properties selling in multiple offers that maybe have led to the traffic leading to in this particular situation, those are the things that should help you understand where your safe number is. And what we mean by safe number, because we're dedicated to making sure that families do a good job of the business of being a family, we want to make sure that we get you in at the right price, because a few years down the road, you're going to call us back and we're going to have to get you out at the right price. So in that case, that safe number should be the amount that you kind of walk away from, meaning that, like, hey, if anybody else wants to pay more than this, they can have it. And we have those conversations regularly, and that helps to make sure that even though maybe the seller set a low price and that's why it's fueling these multiple offers, that you can still purchase this property, not miss out on the one, and buy it safely and be comfortable about that. There's other checks and balances, like the appraisal process from your lender if you're having financing, that will further secure that you haven't overpaid. And we really like that there are checks and balances in these circumstances. We also hear a lot about pressure for buyers to make cleaner offers. And there's ways to make a cleaner offer without giving up your safeties. Like, we think that if you're buying a property, any property, even a new property, that you should probably have a home inspection. We've seen some crazy things. There might be some footage around of ceiling tiles falling down with water because somebody didn't plumb the ensuite bathroom above the garage. That's legit. And you can avoid those things by making sure that you have a great home inspection. And that should be something that's taken into consideration with your offer. It's all good to be swept into the heat of the moment, but is the person next to you giving you sound advice and making sure that you come out of this without any remorse? Now, that's just a little bit of multiple offers. Obviously, if you were in that situation with us, there'd be some more notes and clarity around this situation, but I just wanted to kind of recap and give you the gist of it, talk a little bit about buyers and sellers, and this is a little of how we study real estate. We're really interested in breaking it down so that we have a better understanding, you have a better understanding, and together with our clients, we make a great team. I hope you guys are doing awesome, and if you want, you should definitely save yourself and save your friends from 3-star experiences. Let's make your next move remarkable. Come to Hack & Company at RE/MAX River City. We are the highest rated and reviewed real estate team in the greater Edmonton area on rankmyagent.com. Hope you're doing awesome. Cheers.